This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, or review, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Check us out. And don't forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig, Jigsaw Jimmy 17 on the YouTube. But folks, we're here. It's the playoffs. Week 15 in the NFL. And I hope, if you're hearing this, you've used the advice that I've given you over this season, and hopefully you are in the playoffs. Hopefully you have a chance to put your name amongst immortality, to be remembered. That's what it's about. And I hope that you're hearing this with that in mind. And on the flip side of the coin, if you did not make the playoffs, let this be a teaching lesson. Let us learn lessons. The do's and do nots of fantasy football. If this was your first year, I hope you had a good year. I hope your feet are wet. I hope you're not up to the brim in water. I hope you're not drowning. I hope you are swimming, backstroking, and frolicking with the dolphins. But that's not always the case because this is not Disney. This is real life. And there are winners and there are losers. Simple as that. Fantasy football is cut dry. It's winners and losers. There's no friends in this. I just had to knock out one of my best friends from the playoff race. And I did it with a smile. Because these are the things that you sign up for when you do fantasy football. You sign up to be ruthless. You sign up to look at the numbers over your heart. So once again, if you've made it to the playoffs, congratulations. If you didn't, get ready for next year and study the fuck up. I don't know what to tell you. You'll get no sympathy from me. So week 15, it kicks off with the Rams and the 49ers. And before we start getting into deep detail, there's some things that I like you to look at for maybe a cheat code. Maybe something you didn't really realize at first. But what I'm speaking of, some of these games, some of these teams are not playing for anything. Some of these teams, their Super Bowl is the draft lottery. So when teams are 3-7, 2-11, we understand that these teams are playing for something that is not called a win. So we know the stats on these games, we must tread softly. The Titans, for example, some of their players will be playing for incentives. Ridley, Pollard, these are guys you can count on. Westbrook-Ikhine, that's a guy you can count on. Will Levis is probably playing for his career and his next year starting job. Or a roster spot, depending on how you're looking at it. Watch out. The Giants are 2-11. They aren't playing for anything. They got rid of their starting quarterback. We know they're in the market for a quarterback. To get a quarterback in the draft, you need to have a high draft pick, which means winning is not at the top of their list. The Jaguars and Jets, both 3-10, both looking for a restart. Winning is not at the top of their list. Patriots, 3-10, winning is not at the top of their list. These are just simple mathematics, folks. I'm not sitting here telling you don't play Ramondre Stevenson. He has a great matchup. I'm not sitting here telling you don't play Jameis Winston versus the Chiefs. We know what Jameis is going to do. But what I'm telling you is it's playoffs. It's playoffs. There is no next week. If you lose, that's it. So we will leave no stone unturned. We will look at every crevice and every avenue to win. Because that's what it takes to win a fantasy football championship. I'm not sitting here and telling you that it's not possible to not do it this way. But what I'm telling you is you don't want to go into the offseason with regret. You don't want to lose this game and say, man, if I would have just did a little bit more research, I probably could have figured this out. Maybe I should have looked at my defenses a little bit better. Maybe I should have looked at the fact that Jig said the Ravens are playing against a team that's 2-10. or 2-11. The Ravens are playing against the Giants. I'm looking to go at the Ravens defense. The Chiefs are playing against the Browns. I'm looking to go at the Chiefs defense. We know Jameis Winston's going to throw a pick or two. The Bengals defense looks like it's kind of getting it. I know they played the Cowboys. They look like they have somewhat of a rhythm. They're playing a 3-10 football team. The Cowboys are playing the Panthers. I'm telling you, there's gold in these hills, and we must find it. We must find it. Rams and 49ers. Big game. Division game. The Rams win this game, they're going to start putting themselves in the division talk. The Rams are one of these teams that could win an NFL championship. You look at this offense. That defense can get a stop. That defense can get off the field. That's what you need. But ultimately, that offense, if healthy, puts enough pressure on the opposing team that defense is very reliable. The 49ers, they're fighting for something as well. Brock Purdy's got to figure it out. Deebo Samuel's got to get more involved. But isn't it funny when it comes to the 49ers, it seems like Jauan Jennings was the receiver that they thought Brandon Ayuk was to be. So did they pay the wrong guy? Because Jauan Jennings has done nothing but flourish in this role. So I look at the 49ers, I look at the Rams, I look at the over-unders at 50. I know I want to be a part of this game. Puka, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams. We're looking at, like I said, Deebo Samuels. George Kittle is playing out of his mind. Patrick, Patrick Taylor, the running back for the 49ers, that's a guy you might look at. Because with Isaac, the starting running back they have now, he left the game last week. He left the game. So what you're looking at the possibility of somebody else coming in and stepping in and getting some snaps. Now, if Isaac is not out, I wouldn't go rush. I don't think there's no rush in getting Patrick Taylor until we have word. Now, if you want to stash him on your bench, I don't blame you. It's the playoffs. Like I said, we leave no stone unturned. Everything must be looked at. Everything we must know. We cannot be taken for surprise because there is no next week. Rams and 49ers offensive players are all in play. I like that A-plus game. Chiefs and Browns, like I said, you like the Chiefs defense. The Browns, they're going to be playing from behind, so you know they're going to be throwing. And you know one thing about Jameis Winston, he lets it fly. Hopefully Travis Kelce gets in the paint. But if not, we know the usual suspects are available. Pacheco, Hunt. We're looking at Noah Gray, who's putting himself prime position. DeAndre Hopkins is looking like he's assuming that number one receiver role. So it's looking like we can play him. We can play him with pride. Bengals and Titans, this is one of those games, 47 points over and unders. This is one of those games where we're rolling with everybody in play because of how bad the Bengals defense has been. Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, Westbrook, these guys should be all right. These are people you can play. I'm not saying they're number ones, but they are 3s and 4s and flex options. When you look at the Bengals, look for T. Higgins to get into the paint. It's been a couple weeks. Been a couple bad games, bad performances. Look for him to get into the paint. Also, though, I need you to be weary. I need you to have your eyes open. Because this is a road game for the Bengals, and the Titans have a great pass defense. I need you to be weary. Do not be surprised if Jamar Chase has a bad game. Do not be surprised. He's due for one. And this is a good pass defense. Overall, I give this one a B+. For offensive players, for fantasy football purposes, a B+. Now, the Commanders and the Saints, 44 points over and under in New Orleans, in the Dome. Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson if he plays. We know Austin Ekeler is on IR. If for some reason Robinson doesn't play, Jeremy McNichols. He's already had multiple games this year where he's been a problem, where he's done things, and this is while Brian Robinson and Austin were available. Now that Austin is not available, I look for him to be more involved. Can we get an Alvin Kamara touchdown? I'm tired of seeing Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson, Martavius Valdez-Scantling. Where is Alvin Kamara? Where is Alvin Kamara? I need to know because I'm playing against him. I need to know what is going on and where he's at. Because the last couple weeks he's been MIA, and we're putting an APV out for him right now. We are putting out an active missing persons report because I'm looking for Alvin Kamara. Ravens and Giants. All things Ravens. All things Ravens. Do not play anybody from the Giants. Do not play Malik Neighbors. Do not play anyone. I don't care if I'm wrong. Do not do it. It's the playoffs. You cannot risk this biscuit. But for the Ravens, everybody's open. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. If you're really, really desperate for Isaiah Likely, you need him, plug him in. Especially if you have Kyle Pitts. We're done with him. We're done with you, Kyle. I'll get to you later. But we're looking at Zay Flowers. Maybe, just maybe, Deontay Johnson. But once again, this is not Disney. Rashard Master Baterman probably will get in the paint. Cowboys and Panthers, all thing Cowboys. The Panthers are looking better, but I think the Cowboys are starting to... Listen, the Cowboys are known to go 500. So they probably won't go... They can go 500, but they got to win this game. So I look for them to come out excited. That tough loss to Cincy, I think they come out and they take it out on the Panthers. And if not, there's going to be some changes made in Dallas. We do know that regardless. So it is what it is. Jets and Jaguars, stay the hell away from this game unless you have the following players. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Brian Thomas, Evan Ingram. If you do not have one of those players, do not play them. Maybe a Tanks Bigsby, but the Jets are very good against the run, and so are the Jaguars. We are not going to act like the Jaguars have not been playing better defense over the past 3 games. I know they started off shitty, but over their last 3 games, they're playing better football, and that is something we don't want to worry about. Do not play anyone in a game that the over-unders are 41 points. That's a dog shit game. Get the kickers, get the defenses, and those 4 players that I named, Garrett, Devontae, Thomas, and Ingram. Dolphins and Texans, this is a game I want a part of. 47 points over and under. We got the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devin A-Chain, Jonnu Smith, the usual big 4. For the Texans, we're hoping C.J. Stroud can break out of this bullshit. We need this, C.J. This is playoffs. We need you performing. Nico's probably going to be in there. Joe Mixon's going to be doing his thing. But the person you need, C.J. Stroud. I like this game. I like it for what it's worth. Now, this next game, Broncos and the Colts, is a sneaky one. Broncos and Colts is a sneaky game because it could get up there because of how bad the Colts defense has been this year. The Broncos have the number 1 defense in all of football right now. I would be very weary about playing any Colts offensive players because your quarterback is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's not there yet. For the Broncos, I'm pretty comfortable playing everybody. Pookie Williams, he kind of scares me a little bit. He definitely scares me, but if you got to play the guy, you got to play him. It's hard enough to find a guy that's going to get you 7 to 8 carries. We do know that he's getting all the red zone carries. We do know that, so you have that to fall back on if you have to play Pookie. But once again, if he's inconsistent, we know Sean Payton will use a backfield committee. So that game, the Broncos and Colts, has a chance to be a sneaky over-under filler. Quickly can get up in those 50s. It's in Mile High, so watch out. These next 2 games are the games of the week. Bills and Lions, Steelers and Eagles. Bills and Lions, you're playing everybody 54 points over and under. Josh Allen is minus 400 to win the MVP. The guy just had 6 touchdowns in a losing effort. This game, it has Chiefs and Rams vibes. Just straight points. Give me some more points. It's in the dome. Controlled environment. This is going to be a good game. Do not play any of these defenses. But you play all offensive players. And if you got to dig deep in the bag, Tim Patrick is a guy you can play. Tim Patrick is a guy that you can play. Because I think he's gonna once again get a tud. There's gonna be so many touchdowns in this game. I think it's gonna be like Oprah. You get one, you get one. And on the Bills, Dalton Knox is in. Dalton Kincaid is out. So Knox is in. Look for Knox to get some more time. If you need a tight end for a jam, that's a guy that could do something. In this game, I wouldn't mind it. This game's going to be high scoring, folks. This game, is my game of the week. A+++ ratings. Steelers and Eagles. Give me the Steelers money line, first of all. Give me the Steelers money line, first of all. I think we have true trouble in Philly. I think that Philly's going to come out and try to do something that they shouldn't do, and that's pass the ball. I think they're going to come out with a more pass-heavy script, and Pittsburgh is going to cash in on it. Listen, we're not going to sit here and act like the one big question mark about Jalen Hurts ever since he was at Alabama was his throwing ability. Jalen Hurts is a medium to short throw quarterback, and he's absolutely fine. He's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL as far as putting his team in position to win. So overall, I'm not mad about it. I understand. It's the people who don't understand that that's not Jalen Hurts. And I think that's going to get them in trouble. I think the Eagles come out and try to throw the ball a little bit too much instead of just giving the ball to the MVP of the NFL, Saquon Barkley. I think they try to do too much. I think Pittsburgh once again steals one. I think eventually we have to understand that maybe Pittsburgh is just a good team. Eventually we have to stop saying, oh, well, they're getting lucky. They're getting lucky. No, they're a good football team. It's like the Chiefs. We can sit here and complain and bitch and say the NFL is rigged all we want, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs are a good football team. And good football teams do not shoot themselves in the foot. It's just that simple. And sometimes in life, that's just what it comes down to. Sim-fucking-plicity. Give me Mike Tomlin and them Pittsburgh Steelers to upset the Philadelphia Eagles. Patriots and Cardinals. This is a complete dog shit game. Marvin Harrison Jr. is good. Kyler, I don't know. But overall, this is just one of those games where if you got some players in it, you play them. I wouldn't be surprised if New England won. But like I said earlier in this game, New England has other priorities, and winning is not one of them right now. So I do believe the Cardinals win this game. I don't like the Cardinals -6. I think Drake May will make enough plays to keep this game close, and I also think Kyler's going to fuck up. So overall, I like the players. I give this one a B. I like the players. I'm not in love with them. Buccaneers and Chargers. Give me the Buccaneers, man. I know the Chargers are the favorites because they're at home, but I think the Buccaneers are going to hit a gear. I think with Todd Bowles, I think this team leading their division, I think this team has a chance to do some good things. Over-under in this game is 46 points, so we're going to be in here. We're okay with Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, Rashard White, Cade Otton. We understand that this is a committee and running back. Whoever's hot's hot. Hopefully it's Bucky. If not, I hope you got the latter. For the Chargers, Justin Herbert next year is going to be a top 5 quarterback. Because if they're able to add a number 1 wide receiver with the receiving core they already have, watch the hell out. I like the Chargers. I like the Chargers receivers. I like the Chargers running back. Tampa Bay's defense is pretty bad. It's pretty abysmal. And at times, just straight putrid. So give me that 46 points we're going to get in this game. A game that's the underrated one, the Packers and Seahawks. This game has a chance to be a high-sky, high-flying game. Look for Jaden Reed to go crazy. He had 0 last game. Christian Watson's finally showing up to be that guy we know he can be. Josh Jacob, Jingleheimer Schmidt, his name is my name too. We know what he's doing over there. Geno Smith, you got to come back more consistent. We need DK. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's doing his thing. I don't know if Kenneth Walker is going to be back, but if he is not, trust me, Zach Charbonnet is your guy. Rest assured, the guy has he has multiple touchdowns in every game that he's a starting running back. So if he's starting, he's putting up numbers. We like everybody in this game. This is going to be a B++ for me. Bears and Vikings, this tells you is going to be an ass whooping. But this is a rivalry. This is a division game. And quite honestly, the Bears have to win or do something. Everybody for the Chicago Bears that's not named that's not named Caleb Williams, you are auditioning for a job. You are auditioning for next year. So if your name isn't Caleb Williams, you need to be performing. DJ Moore and those guys have to have a big game. It's going to be on the receivers. The Vikings are going to take away that run game and make him throw the ball, so it's going to be on the Bears receivers. For the Vikings, you like Addison, you like Justin Jefferson. Look out for TJ Hawkinson to get into the paint. That Vikings offense is just potent. Kevin O'Connell has a good offense. He's an offensive-minded coach, and you can tell. His team is rolling, Aaron Jones and those guys. I like the Vikings in this game. Falcons and Raiders. Kirk get right game. Kirk Cousins get right game. If you got Kirk Cousins, you're starting him this week. Kirk Cousins has a get right game. Hasn't thrown a touchdown in almost a month. It's time for him to start throwing some touchdowns. And that's going to start on Monday. Watch out, Kirk Cousins getting right versus the Raiders. But listen, folks. I know it may seem like a lot of pressure in the playoffs. But it's the same game you've been playing for 15 weeks. It's the same thing. Overall, you're starting the same players. You're starting your top 8. You're starting your top 9. You're going to make a couple substitutions here and there. And when, like I say, you're not making big-time substitutions. I'm talking about substitutions to my kicker, to my defense, maybe a flex option. Maybe you go look out there and you go pick up a Keandre Miller because it looks like Alvin Kamara is indeed getting phased out. Like I said, there's only a couple games left, so some of these teams will be trying to get guys involved that aren't normally involved. They want to see what they got. You got a guy that's been on the practice squad all year. You know what? Let's give him a chance to see what he can do in game speed. Let's see what's going on, and you're going to see a lot of it because that's what happens when at the end of the season for some of these teams. Like I said, the priority is to win, but at some point, you must realize the NFL is a business, and these guys have to get better. You get better through the draft and then the offseason. And I get better when you hit that subscribe button. I get better when you join. And this friendship never sinks, man. Follow the Instagram. We are on TikTok now. That guy Jig. Jigsaw Jimmy 17 on Instagram. The picks for college football, college basketball, NFL are on the Instagram at that guy Jig. Once again, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast, and I am him, JIG. Thanks for listening. Peace.